And thank you for joining me. This is Jake with intellectualcatchup.com. Today I'm going to be talking about my Denver 190 Mile High City t-shirt. The t-shirt is designed to get people engaged in conversation with you and get them using their common sense. It really flips globelings on their heads and turns them 180 degrees from what they're used to believing. So I'll be right back and we'll explain more. Today I'm talking about the Denver t-shirt that I created that really sparks interest in globelings and gets them asking questions. Basically, this t-shirt throws their science back in their own face and really turns everything on their head. And that's what we need to do really when we engage strangers, friends or families. We need to get them to think critically, to use their common sense. The fact is that everyone, when we fly across the United States, what we experience is the truth. We experience a predominantly flat continent with rolling hills and mountains, but overall the Earth is flat. We never see curvature from a plane, even though as globe heads, most of us believed we saw it until we actually questioned it and tested it, and we realized that we were deceiving ourselves. Every time I have anyone do that test in an airplane, they take a straight edge and put it up to the window, or take pictures and later pull them up in a computer and put a straight edge up to the monitor, they find out that the curvature that they could see with their eyes was not really there. And so this shirt makes them think. And so that's why I call Denver the 190 Mile High City. Now, Denver is actually technically Denver is 189 miles and change, and I just rounded it up to 190. It was 189 and changed, and I rounded it to 190 because the calculations calculate Denver out to be, if it was a perfect sphere, to be 189, and because Denver is actually 1 mile above that perfect sphere, it's actually 190. And so that's how we come to that calculation, but I'll get into that in a minute. So on the right-hand side of this little legend on this t-shirt, I show you that this is calculated based on a 2,530 mile distance from the Golden Gate Bridge to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. And also with Denver being 965 miles east of the Golden Gate Bridge. And so based on these calculations and the supposed circumference of the Earth, we can determine how high up on the hump Denver really is here. And Denver is, like I said, 189 miles and change, plus 1 mile for its actual height above sea level. And so I'm going to go now to Google Earth and give you a little bit more visuals on it. But so here we are, measured as the crow flies from the Chesapeake Bay Bridge to the Golden Gate Bridge is, what did I say on the t-shirt? I already forgot. Anyway, it's like 2,500 miles. So if you're standing at the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel entrance, as you're driving your car into this entrance, if you look over your left shoulder and you look due west toward the Golden Gate Bridge, if you were able to erase the United States out of your way and you had a magic way of just seeing directly line of sight directly to the Golden Gate Bridge, on a spherical Earth, you would have to look underneath 200 miles worth of curvature. And so in the center of this 200-mile high hump of dirt is Agar, Kansas. Now, what's funny about Agar, Kansas is a college recently in the last few years, did a study. They studied Kansas and found that Kansas actually is flatter than a pancake. Look that up. Kansas flatter than a pancake. A college did a study on it. So What's crazy to me about this is I grew up in Illinois near St. Louis. And so I would fly to California back and forth. I currently live in California. But before I moved here, I would fly back and forth about 8 times a month. And I always thought that Kansas was below Denver. And sometimes I would have layover flights in Denver, or just stop there and spend the night and then get another flight the next day because I really like Denver. I like to visit there. And so I always thought when I landed in Denver, I was flying above Kansas. But in reality, on a sphere, I was flying down from Kansas 10 miles down into Denver. Now, I want all of you who live in the Midwest to wrap your minds around that. Any of you who have flown from the east to California, I want you to look out the window again and tell me you're actually flying over a 200-mile high hump, and that when you fly over Kansas, you're actually flying down 10 miles into Denver. This is your reality. If you live on a ball and believe it, this is what you're doing. Your senses will tell you everything is not the case. Your senses will tell you that the earth is flat. In reality, it is. And your senses jive with reality, but scientism and horrible science textbooks has got you thinking otherwise. Some of you are going to want to know how I came to these calculations, and for you, I'm going to put these links to these websites in the description below. I have a ton of notes on the math, and I'm going to do a separate video if people really demand it of me, where I break down the math and show you how to calculate it, and then you can really use this math for calculating the hump that you should see anywhere on the globe. And so, there's other places on this plane that you could use this math against the globelings to say, look, this is what we're observing here, and there's no hump there. Anyway, I think that's all I have for now. I do want to mention that I am a very busy person. I'm a business owner, and I appreciate any support you guys can give me. I don't ask for donations, but what I do ask for is to help fund my time I spend making videos. In order to help fund that, the only way I could justify spending more time on my Flat Earth website and creating shirts was by creating shirts and selling them. And I make a minuscule amount off shirts. I've probably only sold a couple dozen shirts since I started this, and I don't really push the shirts, and I'm not going to do it on the rest of my videos. But if you go to my website, intellectualketchup.com, there's several different types of artwork. Here's one that's curvature on the flat Earth. It's funny. Some of them are funny. Some of them are risque. Some of them, I've come up with some of these by people recommending and having me make them for them. So I'm willing to take some ideas. If you email me at jake@intellectualketchup.com, I can make the shirt for you. I had someone I made this shirt for that hitchhiked a lot. They like to hitchhike. And so this is a shirt they can wear. They can even, carry the towel and hang the towel out. And if a flat earther passes them on the road, guess what? They're going to get picked up, because if I'm driving down the road and a flat earther's wearing a shirt that says Flat Earth, I'm going to stop and pick him up so I can talk to him. It'd be fun. So this shirt, if you like to hitchhike, can help you get picked up. Also might get some stuff thrown at you. So anyway, thanks again, guys, for joining me. Have a good one.